Olá, todo mundo. Olá,
Hello.
pessoal. Tudo bem? Hello, hello, Francisca. Hello, Sabina.
Hello,
How's it
Leo. How
going?
are you doing?
I'm great. I'm great. Thank you. And I'll just do a quick intro in Portuguese, right? So for our friends here that are joining us here at this broadcast, and then we'll start out. Ok, então, pessoal, boa tarde a todos aí que estão acompanhando a live. Hoje temos uma live bastante especial, né? Uma live com o pessoal da Weyermann aqui, né? Tá nos acompanhando a Sabine Weyermann e a Francisca Weyermann, né? Respectivamente quarta e quinta geração da família Weyermann, né? Uma das maltarias mais queridas do mundo, né? Uma maltaria líder de mercado, né? Que trabalha com maltes especiais aí, atendendo não só o Brasil, mas o mundo inteiro, né? Então, é um momento especial para mim, pessoalmente falando, né? Nós somos clientes da Weyermann desde o dia 1 das Seasons, então isso acaba sendo um momento bastante especial, né? E a Sabine e a Francisca vão contar para nós um pouquinho a respeito aí da história da maltaria, vamos falar um pouco a respeito de cervejas defumadas, né, de malte defumado, né, vamos falar um pouquinho a respeito de processos, né, vamos falar um pouquinho a respeito obviamente, né, da nossa colaboração, né, da X-Bacon, e é isso aí, tá? E, gente, fiquem bem à vontade para fazer perguntas a hora que vocês quiserem, tá? A gente vai filtrando as perguntas ali no chat e vamos passando aqui para o pessoal para a gente ir esclarecendo, tá bom? All right. So you understood everything, right, Francisca?
Totally.
You're
We
fluent in Portuguese, right? I
Almost.
Yes,
remember you're
completely.
fluent in Portuguese. I remember you talking to me in Portuguese during our alignment meeting, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Only
What were the words again?
only
Abacaxi and
very few words that everybody taught me when I was in Brazil. I think 4 or 5 years ago. So one is abacaxi. It's very
there you go.
important after the churrasco, and of course barbaridade che.
There you go.
My
You see,
favorite
you're
word.
fluid. You're a natural.
Yeah, all I need.
All right,
Thanks to
great.
Evelyn.
Yeah, Evelyn
She
and
was our
Rafa
great.
from Agaria. Yeah.
Yeah, Evelini. Okay, from Agrarian. Yeah, our great partners here. Yeah, of course. And by the way, Sabini, now at least online, I can wish you a happy birthday. Right?
Oh, thank you
It
very
was
much.
yesterday, right? So happy birthday, congratulations, and wishing you guys all the best there. And unfortunately, we can't be in person, right, to celebrate this due to the pandemic. But anyway, yeah,
Hopefully,
I
there
think
will
it.
be more birthdays to
Oh
celebrate.
yeah, oh yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah, it was my 63rd birthday and my 36th anniversary at Weyermann. So, two reasons to celebrate.
All right, nice. A long time, right?
Yeah.
That's great. That's great. Okay, so let's start since we're talking about Weyermann here. Let's start with the first note that I have here that I wanted to ask you. We all know, of course, about the amazing quality of your products, right? Of Weyermann malts, something that as brewers such as myself, we all know and love, right? But I'd like you to tell us a little bit more about your beautiful company history, because I know of course, there's a lot to tell, there's a lot to talk about, but it would be great if you could share a little bit about your company history with us.
So it's 100 and almost 142 years of family tradition. Francisca is the fifth generation. I'm the fourth, and we're just happy to live 24 hours our passion for malt. We own a beautiful World Heritage industrial premise. It's beautiful. It's part of the beautiful city of Bamberg. And yeah, this is where we live and work 24/7 with lots of passion to make the best malt for our brewers friends all over the world.
Nice, that's great. And Regarding the malts that you produce, you started not only with malt, but with other raw materials as well, right?
You mean in the very early beginning, we
Yeah,
started with a little roasting drum, and we started to roast fruits for coffee.
coffee.
So not for coffee, but for cereal coffee. Think
Okay,
about early 1900s. Coffee was not well known or very expensive, so you would use roots or nuts for as a coffee substitute, and we roasted the fruits. What are the fruits?
Cichuria.
Yeah,
But what is it in
cichuria.
English?
What is it in English? So let's just say we roasted the
Roots,
fruits,
yeah.
like
okay, okay.
figs, and this is how the story started. And then
Mhm.
my grandfather came up with the idea, hey, we could also roast barley. And this is how the story started. By 1929, our 50th anniversary, we already delivered to 33 countries. By now, we added some more countries, and it's 145 countries.
It's basically
Right.
everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's
Nice.
thanks to the craft brewing industry. So we, at a certain point, we decided to focus on high quality, especially for the craft beer, for the international craft beer industry. And yeah, this was
Nice.
a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm sure it was. I'm
this was
sure it
the best
was.
idea we ever had.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Nice. And out of curiosity, Sabine and Francisca, how many different malt varieties do you produce at Weyermann?
I think by now we are around 90.
90 varieties. Wow.
This is the biggest number I can imagine any malt house in the world is producing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, it is. Yeah, that sure it
Yeah,
is.
but this is also influenced by the creativity first by the American craft brewers who always ask for more flavor, more beer styles. So we came up with the idea of the terroir malts, and it's a very fruitful cooperation. We learn a lot from our customers.
Nice. Nice. That's good. That's good. Yeah, it's kind of like a back and forth effort,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah,
Where the brewers want to experiment and invent and try new things,
yeah,
and the suppliers also
that's,
try new things and try to
yeah,
experiment as well.
yeah.
Good. That's
But I
nice.
also think what we give the craft brewer is always having a, a good base for their beers, because if you can trust in the quality and your base product always being the same. Hi.
That's my wife, Carolyn.
I
Right.
Hello. If you
Sabine, I
can
think
trust,
I think you remember her from Festival at Blumenau.
I do, and
yes.
we're in close contact by Facebook. So
There you go.
I like watching your
All right,
family
just saying
pictures,
hello.
and yeah,
Yeah, so for us, being a good base for all the brewers, because if they know what the malt can do, they can be very creative with what they can do with the malt. So you always
Okay.
know, okay, I can trust if I use this will be the outcome. But if I do a variation, I know it's not the malt, but it's my creativity. So I think this
Nice.
is an important
yeah,
part.
good point.
Yeah, yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense. Well, since we're talking, since one of the main focuses of this stream here is smoked beers, I wanted to ask you a little bit about smoking malts. Well, it's kind of like it's interesting because in the past, for brewers at least, smoking malt used to be kind of like an unavoidable reality, right, for brewers, because in the past, most of the malts were basically smoked for the drying process, right?
Mhm.
And now smoking malt is sort of like a revered tradition, right?
Exactly.
So I wanted to ask you why are and what's your take on this? Why are smoked beers and Rauch beers still so popular in Germany? And of course, to complement the question, why Bamberg?
Why are they so? Because it's a great beer style, and it's a beer style that
Okay.
has lasted through the ages. Just take Schlenkerla, die Rauchbier. you could ever talk. It's actually a Weyermann family tradition to do your first apprenticeship
Yep.
at Schlenkerla. So we both did our 6-8 week apprenticeship before going to university at Schlenkerla.
Nice.
And it's just, I think it's a beer style that has a very deep fan base. It's either you really love it or either you don't like it at all. But if you love it, it's just a really great beer. And I think,
And it goes well with
and
everything.
it goes well
so.
with everything once you get used to it. No, but
No.
and it's also, I think smoked beer is not only 100% smoke, but it can also be 5% smoke or 10% smoke. Just I think it gives great creativity again to the brewer to just add to any beer.
Yeah, this was one of the things I wanted to ask you about, because you can be very in terms of smoke malt, you can get very creative with it, right? You can either use 100% or you can also use on different styles of beer and get of course a less amount in order not to distract so much from the other ingredients. But you can get creative with smoked malt, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What
We think that just adding it doesn't even have to be 5%, just 1 or 2% to a beer, and it will just give you a lot of depth and a lot of complexity to your beer, because it's that kind of flavor that the consumer doesn't really know what he's tasting, but it makes the beer very interesting. It enhances all the other flavors. Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah. And I'm curious as to the process for smoking malt, right? This is one of the things that it must be. Of course, we are all in the technological era, so of course there is a lot of automation processes that undergo the process for smoking malt. But I'm curious if you can share us a little bit your knowledge about the process for smoking malt and what are the main differences from the modern process of kilning.
Yeah.
Right. I know I'm asking you this because I see in the comments here, I see there are a few brewers that I know of here, and they're probably thinking the same thing as I am now, and about the differences between the smoking process and the kilning processes for
So
making
smoking
smoked malt.
process is still done very, very traditional. We would exclusively use Bavarian grown, Franconian grown beechwood
Or oakwood.
or oakwood. So totally different smoke malts. Traditional or modern kilning is an indirect heating. So the wood would not get in contact with the malt. So it's totally different. So with a smoke malt, we would create a nice beechwood fire, and the smoke would penetrate the malt, versus the modern version where the heat does not meet the malt.
Yeah, there's no, because you go back, smoking a malt always goes back to why the malt was smoky in the first place. Because in old times you were not able, there was no technological way to not directly smoke the malt, because you had to get the heat to the malt. And with modern kilning, you can slowly have non-smoky heat above the malt without making it smoky. So now you have to go back in and get the smoke back into the malt.
So you have more control, of course, right? And
Yeah.
in the past, probably not even it wasn't only restricted to beechwood, right? It would probably be also other sources of heat,
wood.
right?
I think this is just a common wood in our area, but you could use like cherry wood, apple wood. This is just the most traditional wood we would use. So beech or oak. Oak has a totally different flavor. It's much more on the sweet side. And again, Polish craft brewers ask us to do an oak smoked malt to recreate an old historical recipe, Grazer, and they needed the specific malt. So we came up with the idea, okay, we reinvent oak smoked malt.
Yeah.
Nice, nice. So you also do this kind of of smoking with different sources of wood. I understand that the main wood you use is beechwood, but also do you do this kind of smoking as a service as well? I mean, if I wanted to, this is out of curiosity.
Mhm.
If a brewer want to produce a specific malt with a specific kind, a specific smoked malt with a different kind of wood, would you do this as well?
We have a small pilot malt house matching our pilot brewery, and we are just in the process of doing different trials with different woods, as you said. But most of the time, people would ask for for beechwood smoke because it's a
Okay,
very gentle, easygoing flavor.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, but
also
that's beautiful. It's
expensive, but
interesting
it's
to know this, the
complex.
versatility. I'm
Yeah,
sorry, Francisco, you were saying.
That's what I wanted to say. It's an easy smoke, but the flavors are very complex, but they work well together. It's not an overwhelming smoke where you don't know where you can't taste anything else but ham. But it's very complex. It has some sweetness, some bitterness, and it's not just overwhelming smoke.
yeah. The good
Yeah.
idea is to go on Pinterest or on our Facebook page. And this is where we publish the aroma wheels of each single malt. And go and have a look on the beechwood smoke and on the oak smoked. So this is very interesting to see this
Yeah.
aroma wheels.
Yeah, this is the aroma wheels are very interesting because and you were actually pioneers in this, right?
Yeah.
In terms of using aroma wheels for describing malt flavors and aromas, right? Because
Yeah,
this
Exactly.
is
also creating the malt aroma wheel. That was
yeah,
Yeah.
our doing. Yeah.
Mhm.
and it is a big thing because it's important for us to deconstruct as brewers. We need to work on the recipe
Exactly.
starting at the end, right? Starting at what kind of flavors and what kind of aromas we wanted for the product. So it's very important for us to understand
Yeah.
as much about the ingredient as possible, right?
Exactly. And this was
Yeah.
our idea. How could we help the brewer create new recipes and start from the end? What is his vision? Which flavors does he want to have in the beer? So we came up with the aroma wheel. I think this is a great tool for everybody.
It is. It is. I'm sure of it. I'm a heavy user of that. Gustavo was asking a question here. And sorry if you have already talked about it, but what is the Weyermann total production capacity? Yeah, we haven't talked about it yet, Gustavo. So yeah, that's a great question.
110, 120.
Yeah. We don't like to talk about numbers, but let's put it this way. We have enough malt for all, not for all the brewers in the world. We
all the
put it this
brewers
way.
yeah.
For all, we call this, we make the best malt in the world, but just for our friends. So
Okay.
but giving you a number is we're the biggest family owned
Specialty malting company.
private malt house in Germany.
Nice.
So
That's
I
good.
think this is a good
That's
one.
enough for me.
Yeah.
That's enough malt for me. All right. Um, regarding the styles of beer, I mean, Francisca mentioned one thing that it's very interesting for me. The versatility of smoked malts in general, right? I mean, the notion of using smoked malts on different styles of beer is something that I'm really drawn into. I mean, I've drank, of course, different Rauch beers, of course, but I've also drank much lighter beers that contain smoked malts, and they're really intense and flavorful on the palate. I mean, I've drank beers such as even a Pilsner with a very small percentage of smoked malt was amazing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you what other styles of beer would you see that smoked malts would fit into?
Any beer. I think what is great is a wheat beer. We do at our pilot brewery do an oak smoked wheat beer, and it's really nice because it depending on which yeast you use and which hops, it really
October. Mhm.
it really balances out sometimes that kind of sweetness you get in the wheat. I think it's great for a Kölsch beer.
It's
It's
nice
really
for alt.
nice. It's nice for alt. I think you can use it.
Any
We're big smoked malt fans, so we think you can just put it in, use it in any beer.
Yeah, and craft brewers told us that
Yeah.
you can use it in any beer style because they use it in any beer style.
Yeah.
So in Bamberg, we would be focused on a lager, but this is a very restricted
Yeah.
look of the thing. So American brewers told us, and also Brazilian, just play with the malts. Think about like malt being like a piano and just play with it.
Yeah, think about a smoked peach ale. This would be a great beer.
Yeah. That's a nice idea.
Anybody
There
who
you
wants
go.
to make a smoked peach ale and send me a bottle, I'll be very happy.
Okay.
I think
Good.
I think it just adds so much to a beer that the your creativity is endless. So I think
Maybe this is
Yeah.
a good point to tell about your scientific work you did at university, how to enhance the flavor profile of beer, but also of fish and food with adding of bread. Think about bread, adding a dash of smoked malt.
yeah, that's what I've been saying.
Yeah.
I did this for my bachelor thesis. We tested a lot of not only Weyermann smoked malts, but also peated malts and other maltsters who were kindly sending us samples. And it's just the differences also in the wood is incredible. And yeah, it's just it if you use it for fish, you can use it in the crust a little bit, or
Bread, bakeries.
yeah, or if you put it in a tea, or you put it in a little bit of bread in the crust. It's just you can. The creativity is
There are no
endless. There
limits.
is no limit to
Yeah,
using.
I have I was a part of a fun story about this. I was teaching at school here in Porto Alegre, right, our hometown, and I was teaching in cooking school, right, and we were talking about craft beer used in food stuff in general, right? And of course, I was talking about craft beer, and the students, they would have to do. It was kind of like a homework for it was kind of like think of it as an exam for that lecture that I was giving, and they had to create a dessert uh, with a different beer. And one of the students, which was I was really most impressed about, he created an ice cream where the in the one of the ingredients mixed in the ice cream was our Rauchbock ex bacon, and it actually he also made sure to add some toasted bacon crusts to the ice cream at
Oh
the
yeah.
end, and it was simply amazing. It was like the salty, the meaty flavor paired perfectly well with the ice cream. So and it was a vanilla ice cream paired with bacon. It was incredible.
Yeah, just think about using a smoked beer for a sauce. If you normally you would use red wine, but you can just as easily use a smoked beer. And
Yeah.
I mean, if it's a really nice Rauchbierbock, I think this would be amazing for a nice piece of Brazilian meat.
Yeah, I think the smoke descriptor, the flavor description and the aroma description, I think it adds a little bit of umami to the umami
Yeah.
flavor, right? So it's very intense. Yeah, I have to agree with that. I have to second that. And well, so also another beer that comes to mind, I've drank. I think it was from. I think it was a brewer in the U.S. In Washington. He created a smoked pilsner, and it was amazing because he added a very small percentage of smoked malt. I think it was something close to maybe 7 or 8%. I don't recall now, but it was something very light, and he already created like a mouthful of it. So it was really incredible. Yeah,
A beer to remember.
yeah, a beer to remember. Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, Alexander here. So we have Alexander
Alexander
making
Wecker
a
wants
very nice observation. right?
Smoked IPA.
Yeah, a mix of our hoppy knowledge with Weyermann smoked malts for a smoked IPA. There you go.
And you can see that
I think that would be
Alexander,
a great idea.
you can see Alexander is very well trained by the Weyermann family because he used the R.
I was gonna say just that. I was
Yes.
gonna say just that. Yeah, that would be a great idea. Yeah, Rauch IPA. It's interesting because it's not a clash of flavors, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it has it is extreme, but of course, if it is well balanced, why not, right? Why not create something like that?
Yeah, and I
That's
think with
great.
all the tropical aromas that come from some hops, I think it could be a great addition.
Yeah, yeah,
A smoky IPA. See,
yeah.
next trend category: hazy IPAs were it yesterday. Tomorrow is smoky IPAs. Get
There
ready.
you go. There you go. I like that thought.
New
Okay, so
category at the JABF. No, just kidding.
all right. Let's talk a little bit about Brazil's craft beer scene here. What comes to your mind, since you were in Brazil supplying malts for Brazil for a long time, through our partners from Agraria, and I wanted to ask you what comes to your mind when you think about craft beer in Brazil.
So Fanny and Thomas and I, we traveled many breweries in Brazil, and this is something we love to do. We love to do uh, to visit our to visit breweries and meet the brewer, get the story behind. What it comes to my mind when I think about Brazilian breweries is high hygienic standard, high creativity. Of course, the German influence at the beginning. It comes to my mind beautiful breweries, high technical standard, well educated people, and
Very nice people,
and
open
with
people.
the touch of Brazil, with this heartful touch of Brazil. So I think Brazil is all the people, and the beers reflect the people. Great beers with a lot of
Heart.
passion and
Yeah,
heart.
passion.
Nice. Nice. It's great to hear that. I mean, we have a growing scene here in Brazil. We
Yeah.
started out, of course, it's like every other movement in terms of creating quality products, right? We started out very small and very slow, but it kind of like gained momentum about maybe 12 or 15 years ago, and we are close. I think we're close to something around 2,000 breweries in the country here.
Yeah.
And in contrast, when I think we started seasons at in 2010. We were the 42nd brewery in the country. So in contrast, it was a very fast growth for the country in terms of craft beer, and we are still small in terms of market share. If you come to think of it, it is a very large number, right? A very large amount of breweries. Oh, Yuri, there you go. The ice cream is famous. This is the creator of the ice cream that I was talking about.
Yuri.
There you go, Yuri. Here it is. Here's
So you have
the
to come
man.
to Bamberg and make some smoked malt ice cream for us.
Here's the man, the owner of the ice cream, the bacon ice cream that I was telling you about.
Yeah, and I think Brazil is, I think a lot of outsiders who have never been to Brazil or have never really thought about it, they don't realize how huge Brazil is, how vast it is, and how many people and how many different people and places
Different
there
cultures,
are. And and I think it's great, and I've had a great time every time I've been to Brazil.
And we have great memories.
Yeah, we have great memories, and we have great friends in Brazil. So yeah, it's very positive thinking for us in Brazil.
Nice festival in Blumenau as well, right? Yeah. And
I mean, the festival in Blumenau, this is amazing. It's only young people. This is something people should go there and experience this, the passion, how enthusiastic people are about beer, and this is energizing.
Yeah.
For us, it's energizing.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting mix. I think I see Brazil in terms of the craft beer. I see Brazil as kind of like a culture mix bag
Yeah.
of a lot of German influence, especially in the beginnings of the craft beer industry here. A lot of German influence, and then we started to branch out to other to absorb
Other beer
other
styles.
cultures and learn
Yeah.
from it,
Yeah.
right? So it is interesting because we got a lot of attention to control and detail, and also a lot of creativity to share through our products. So I think this creates a very interesting mix of abilities for a brewer, a mix uh, of quality control and attention to detail with creativity all in the same bag. So it's interesting. I'm very curious to see what happens in the next 10 or 20 years for our industry here. So regarding our beer, of course, we've been here talking about smoked malts for about half an hour, and we still haven't talked about ex bacon. So I think I'm kind of obliged to start on the subject. Well, of course, at Seasons we're very proud of our creations, right? But
This
what
is
I believe that what truly elevated our collaboration, ex bacon, to higher standards was the collaborative creation process with you guys, right? The idea of blending a high proportion of smoked malt with a rich, intense dark fruit character malt like Special W
W.
created for me. It created something unique, right? Kind of like a mix. We told this before. We talked about this before, right? The notion of tradition shaking hands with innovation, right? Which is for me, it's kind of like what Special W represents, right? It
Mhm.
was, by the time we used it the first time, it was a new malt, right? And it's very heavy on that dark fruit character, that sweet like dark fruit character, and I think it balanced out perfectly the phenolics and the intense smoky character
Mhm.
from the smoke malt. So anyway, I of course, for everyone here that don't know, ex bacon is a Rauchbock, right? So it blends the rich and malty sweet aspects of a bock, right, with the smoky, kind of like meaty bacon like notes of Rauch beers, right? And during the collaborative creation process for this recipe, we collectively understood that Special W would be the perfect pair for the smoked malt, right, to fit the flavor profile for the Rauchbock. And well, I'm saying all this because Special W is certainly one of my favorite. It's one of my
It
favorite
is.
malts to brew with, right? So I'd like you to tell us a little bit about how you created this beautifully complex malt.
Du? Ich?
I think Special W is an homage to a little bit also Belgian because it has that sweetness. I like to
The
compare
dried
it.
fruits.
Yeah, it has a lot of dried fruits, and it's a very it can be used in a lot of ways, but for nice creamy dark beers with
Was
a
hast du hier?
deep
Bamberg
tone.
auch, Schlotfeger.
Oh, now see, this
Oh
is
my God,
coming.
nice!
See?
Oh, now I got envy at you guys. I'm gonna have to grab a beer.
Yeah, you just have to know the right people.
Prost.
Lecker.
That's
What,
definitely
what are you drinking? What are you drinking?
So I'm drinking Schlotfegerler.
And I'm drinking the Hofbräu Rauch.
Yeah. So one
Nice.
is both Rauch beer, but one is a dark one and one is
And
more
on
a
the reddish.
red side.
Okay. Is that related to the amount of smoked malt or other caramel malts inserted in the process? Other darker malts inserted in the process?
It's the darker malts. So it's not related to the intensity of the smoke. Our Schlotfegerler beer only has about 20-25% smoked malt.
Yeah, 25,
So
27. Yeah.
it's not a heavy smoked beer, but it's a drinkable smoked
Yeah.
beer. It's not like the Rauchbier Doppelbock.
Yeah, and it's not
Okay.
like Schlenkerla. It's
It's
just
not like the Schlenkerla.
it's a very easy version.
Yeah.
Very drinkable, very enjoyable.
Okay. Well, Schlenkerla is 100% smoked malt, right?
It is.
Almost.
It's 98% smoked malt and 2% carafa.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
yeah, almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, of course you have to have the
Schlenkerla is it's a
dark malt
great beer.
character
It's
in.
one of my favorite beers
Yeah.
in the world. I think it's a very consistent, great flavor, but you have to love smoked beer.
Yeah.
I wouldn't consider this a beer for Rauch beer beginners.
No.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
It is very different, right? It
Yeah,
has a
it's-
very intense. It's kind of like a burnt character to it as well.
Yeah,
Right? It is.
lots of bacon and campfire and yeah,
Yeah.
I don't. It's a must when you are in Bamberg. You have to have a beer at the Schlenkerla. But
it's
you
not
have
for
to
the
be
lighthearted.
prepared.
Yeah, you have to be prepared.
You
So
have to
once
be prepared. Yeah.
Once you've been drained in Schlenkerla for a whole day, you learn to love it, and I love Schlenkerla.
I love that description. It tastes like a campfire. That's good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's how people
That's
describe
good.
it.
Yeah. So yeah, I remember when we were creating the recipe here, when we were at the first stages of creating ex bacon. I remember when Francisca and by that time Dominic was here as well,
Dominic.
and I remember our we were discussing about talking about the process, right? And during the brew day, Dominic, of course, joined us for the brew day there as well. And I remember he was being very uh, cautious about the not only the recipe itself, but the process, right? So how we would things, small things like how we were going to lauter the grain, how we were going to clean the vessel. I remember there was one funny moment when our brewers were cleaning the lauter tun, right? It's a basic part of the process. We were just cleaning the lauter tun, and then Dominic just approached us and say, "Why do you clean it like this?" I mean, and then we were talking, well, why is it wrong? No, it's not wrong. It's just inefficient, right? And then he came and he just used like I think it was just 2 or 3 pieces of wood attached to the Lauderton, to the Lauderton racks, right? And then he created a much more efficient process in like 2 to 3 minutes for us to clean the Lauderton, and then I think we saved just a couple hours of our process just because of that. So it was not only a collaboration for creating the recipe, but also for our process as well. It was really good.
Now every time you're cleaning the Lauderdank, you're thinking of Dominic.
Yeah, basically.
You should rename the Lauderdank. Should be
You should
named
put it Dominic.
Yeah, I'm gonna name the rack from the Lauderton Dominic. Good, that's a good idea. Yeah. So yeah, and it was good because I again talking about the collaborative process. I think that one of the great things about the craft beer industry is that people are very open-minded, right? So the notion of shared knowledge is something that we all have, not only as brewers but also from everyone, from the maltster to the farmer that grows hops to the yeast laboratory. Everyone likes to share their knowledge about the process, because we all understand that if we all understand the notion of a rising tide raising all boats, right? I think the idea of using properly using the ingredient in your process will create a better product, will create a much more a richer, a much more beautiful product. for us to for the consumers. So this is one of the things that I find to be the most beautiful about the craft beer industry, the
Totally
idea
agree.
of sharing knowledge.
Sharing knowledge, sharing ideas, and just working together. I think this is what makes the craft beer movement so special.
Yeah, this is what actually this is one of the things that I wanted to also to note, right? You have at your website you have you share recipes. You have a pilot brewery at Weyermann, and you also share recipes that you create, right?
Yeah,
And you also have so you also you guys are also worried with your brewer base in order to share this knowledge that you have, this secular knowledge that you have, right?
sure. We have a huge library of recipes. I think by now
Over
it's
100.
how many?
Over
Four.
100.
Oh, more. This I think
400.
we did the
400?
library, and they came up with 400 recipes.
Oh my God.
And if you have any idea how to create a beer style, just drop us a note, and we're happy to help.
That's
So
nice.
in an average year, we would come up with maybe 50 different recipes, and a lot of the ideas what to brew come with the brewers who are coming to Bamberg. And they say, hey, we could do this beer or this beer. What is the specialty in your country? So we did a beautiful, beautiful beer with an Iranian customer with lots of, was heißt,
Saffron.
saffron,
Okay.
safarano,
Saffron.
Yeah,
saffron,
saffron.
beautiful. So it's as you said, it's a
Collaborative effort.
it's a collaborative effort, and it's an ongoing process, exchanging ideas and upgrading and sharing knowledge. And this is just, we love to do this. So we have this beautiful exchange program at Weyermann where we invite brewers from all over the world to come to Weyermann and brew with us, stay there as long as you want, for a week, for 2 weeks, for a month. We offer a beautiful apartment. You can bring your family, your girlfriend, whatever, and just experience Bamberg and just learn more about malt and special beer types. So
Yeah,
this is
yeah.
an open
I
episode.
remember we made use of that
Yeah,
brewer exchange program by that time. By that time, our brewer was Eduardo, right? He now runs his own brewery, Synergy
yeah,
Brewing Company,
synergy.
right? And yeah, and
Yeah, he's
this is
here. You
one of the
can,
beautiful things. Yeah, I think he's here. Yeah,
yeah,
I think he was around. I saw he's saying hello here. I
Yeah.
just don't see him in the comments here now. Eduardo, if you're here, say hello. Right. And yeah, this is one of the beautiful things about it because uh, again, it's sharing knowledge, is sharing technique, right? For us to grow as an industry, I think this is important, right? And
Also,
being
forming relationships. I mean, we have so many wonderful people that we call our friends all across the world, because we're all open with each other. Everybody can come, and we have open doors at Weyermann, and we share our knowledge, and we love to learn also from the brewers. I mean, the first 10 years we went to the US, we brought a lot of our technical knowledge, and now we bring back inspiration from any trip, not only the US. So I think it's all moving, and we love to move with it.
yeah. And for Weyermann is a very traditional company with 140 years of experience. This is kind of rejuvenating. So we just get new energy from the craft beer industry, and we feel very much honored that so many people follow our advice.
yeah, yeah. For when I started as a home brewer, it was something close to 16 years ago. I started with vitamin recipes.
Yeah.
I started out with vitamin recipes, so
And
it is a great resource.
yeah, how
That's for
often
sure.
I hear the story or I hear the saying, I grew up with Weyermann. Uh, Beautiful. So this Weyermann was the first malt at the beginning, and most of the time people stick to this malt. This is wonderful. So they grow up with Weyermann. The brewers grow up with Weyermann, and they keep Weyermann young.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. Nice. Nice. Well, do you have in terms of sharing knowledge, like and since we're on this discussion now, what other things that you have in terms of content that you create? I saw you have some videos that you're starting to publish now, right? Is something like that?
Yeah, since we could not travel, none of us could travel, as we all know, we came up with the idea we take advantage of the quiet time and publish different, I think it's about 16 different videos in different languages, of course, English, German, and Spanish, about all the different beer styles, like one about Rauch beer, wheat beer, lager, all the different Pilsner malts we offer. So it's a good way to travel to Bamberg.
Yeah, good, nice. Yeah, I saw. Yeah, okay, good. Leo posted here as the link for
Yeah,
the video
yeah,
for the videos, right? And
it's,
I think it's a great way to share knowledge and to share content
yeah,
with us fellow brewers, right? And
yeah,
not only brewers, right? Actually, right? So consumers as well, right?
yeah.
I
So
think I saw
we
I
try to
saw
find a
Axel's.
nice balance, yeah, to make it
Yeah,
interesting for everybody.
Yeah.
yeah, I saw Axel's video on smoke beers. It was really good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and we had
it
a
got
lot
me
of fun
thirsty.
doing this videos.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
had a lot of fun.
we thought
It
it's
got me
just
thirsty.
easy. Yeah, okay.
Nice.
Yeah, but
Okay.
anytime you have a question about malt or about recipe, don't hesitate. Contact us and we will be happy to
Yeah.
answer your question.
Drop us an email.
Any language is fine with us. We speak so many
Okay.
languages at Weyermann, and Google is our friend, so we will make it
Nice.
happen.
Okay. I think I just came up with something that maybe it's a good idea. It's not actually an idea, but it's something that I would like to see happening. Since we were talking about Brazil and the diversity of Brazil's
Yeah.
brewing culture here, we also have a lot of diversity in terms of wood. Since we were talking about smoking malts, it would be interesting to see the future for Brazil in terms of exploring smoke malt with different kinds of wood. So that got me curious. I mean,
Mhm.
since you mentioned that you have a pilot malt facility
Uh-huh.
that we could use, this would be very interesting to see. To
Mhm.
see different kinds of because smoking for me, it's not only the ingredient. I mean, the process creates a different ingredient, right? So this would be something interesting to see in the future, maybe.
Definitely.
Yeah.
We're in for any ideas.
All right. It's good to know. Okay, summing it all up. Uh, advice from advice from you guys on brewing a great Rauch beer. Any advice?
Use Weyermann malt.
There you go. That's the first one.
Just come up with an idea how smoky you want to have the beer. If you want to have the very traditional Schlenkerler version,
Go all out.
all out, or start easy. I would recommend start easy with
Yeah.
20-30%, and then
go from there.
go from there.
Yeah, and
step
then
by
try
step.
how it feels like in different kind of beer styles. I mean, you can try doing doing a helles and a dark beer, and then just playing with the different flavors.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I think there's never ever too much smoke.
And there's
to it.
never ever a finished recipe.
Yeah.
Yeah. In terms of balance, I think a smoked beer also, at least from my perspective, I think that in terms of balance, a smoked beer, if it is overly dry, it gets. I think the phenolics of the smoke gets too overpowering. So in terms of balance, I think it has to have a touch of body to it, so it balances out a little bit of the smokiness, but it becomes palatable. But of course, that depends on the base style, right? If we're
Yeah.
talking about a true Rauch beer, it has a little dryness to it.
Yeah, and I would be very careful with peated malt because peated is a very harsh. It's a great flavor, but it's
Intense.
very intense, very harsh. So beechwood is a nice
Yeah,
smoked
balanced.
beer, a nice smoked malt for beginners.
Yeah.
Yeah. Beechwood creates kind of like that meaty,
Yeah,
full-bodied notion of
exactly.
smokiness,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
yeah,
Peated. I think peated malt is mostly used for whiskey, right? For whiskey production.
yeah. Yeah, but there are also some craft brewers, also in Germany, who doing a peated smoked malt. This is a great beer, but
Yeah.
it's
Intense.
not for everybody.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Uh, Henrik just asked a question here.
Lenker.
How much smoked malts there are in Schlenkerla Kreuzen? Um, well, I think I don't know if that's the percentage of smoked malts he's asking. Um, yeah, I think that was what you mentioned before, right? 98% smoked malt, right?
It's, we don't know if this is the exact number, but it's a high percentage of smoked malt and a very small percentage of dark malt.
Yeah.
So the Schlenkerler recipe is the Schlenkerler secret, and so
Yeah.
it will stay.
Yeah, and they also, I think they also smoke their own malt, right?
Yeah,
they do.
something like
they
this.
do.
All smoked beer breweries in Bamberg, like the Spezial and the Schlenkerler, have their own small smoking facility.
Hmm. Yeah, and the rest use Weyermann Beechwood smoked malts.
Exactly.
Nice. Okay, there are and all of the breweries in Bamberg, they it's kind of like their flagship product, right? The smoked beers. It's
Yeah, because
the main
Bamberg is
product and the
famous for smoked beer.
Yeah.
So
I remember the first time my partner came to Bamberg and we went to a beer garden and he ordered a Radler. So Germany, it's typical. Radler is usually a mix of
lemonade.
a lemonade and
Pilsner.
Pils or Helles. But in Bamberg, it's orange. So it's orange lemonade and Rauchbier. And he was like, yeah, it's Spezial. It's Fanta and Rauchbier.
God.
It's really good, but he was like, this is not a Radler. I said, this is Bamberg Radler.
Bamberger Hadler. Nice.
Yeah.
Genau.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, since you have you tried Brazilian Catarina sour already
Yeah, of course
from the
we did.
last trip?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have
It
a
would be interesting to
beautiful.
see a Catarina sour with smoked malt, right?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
There you go. I'm taking notes of these ideas that you guys are mentioning. Okay. So
We mentioned this before. We have a very close relationship with our distribution partner, Agraria, and they come once or twice a year to Bamberg. And of course, the luggage is filled with
beer.
great Brazilian beers, and then we do a tasting
and other things like
hammocks.
or things you need for churrasco and cachaça and all the good things. Brasilberg. Yeah.
all right. Good. Okay, so we're 5 minutes from ending our stream here. Oh, Evelani showed up. Hello, Evelani. How are you? Yeah, Agraria has the whole portfolio, has the whole Weyermann portfolio. There you go. Yeah, partner since day one, right? For folks from Agraria. There you go. Felipe just asked a question here. How the COVID situation is affecting the business, and if the consumption of variety of malt have been dropped because of that.
No. So the variety of malt we produce and are not being dropped. Of course, COVID has an impact on Weyermann. When our customers are not open, it has an impact on us. So we do maybe 30% less turnover this year, but we're still
last year,
but we're still producing, and we see the different countries are already catching up. So, but we did not drop the variety of malts. No way. We stick to this, whatever will happen.
Yeah.
Nice. That's great to hear. That's
Yeah,
great to hear. It's
yeah,
important. It's
yeah, yeah.
important for us
No,
brewers
this
to
is
have
We're
a
still
variety.
here and we're still producing and we will be producing for the next 140
yeah,
years. I can guarantee the next 30 years.
yeah.
So after that, I don't know the next generation, but yeah, I mean, COVID has affected us, but with since we are so spread out to a lot of markets, it's so then you see, okay, one market is a little bit slower, the other one is picking up a little bit better, but it's just
Well balanced.
yes, and it's a moving situation. It's every day is a lot of things going on, but we're hopeful that it's we're on the everybody is on the mend. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we are. It is. Yeah, it's on the mend, right? That's. I think the worst part of it has is at least it's behind us, but yeah, it's still present in our daily lives. So of course we
Yeah.
have to take care and take all the necessary steps for us to stay in good
Mhm.
health. Right. That's it. Um, Everyone else in the comments, if you have any more questions, we're about to end our stream here, right? So, any final considerations? I'm gonna ask you, Francisca and Sabini, if you have any final thoughts for us to, for you guys to share. And
A final thought
go ahead.
is we hope COVID is ending soon and we can travel again to Brazil.
Yeah.
Agavia has its 70th anniversary in January. Actually, it had it on May, but they will be celebrating in January 2022. So we hope we can travel to Brazil again. We miss Brazil
Yeah.
and keep up the great work.
Yeah.
It's just amazing to see the craft beer industry in Brazil growing and coming up with great ideas. So we are at your side.
All
Yeah.
And
right.
we
Good.
always will be.
And we're hoping to come back soon. Yeah.
Okay, great. I have to say personally, it's an honor to be talking to you guys here, and I wish we could do this in person. Of course we can't, but it was really great talking to you guys now, and
Okay.
for everyone here, thank you for sharing, thank you for participating on our stream, and basically that's it, guys. So, Francisca, Sabini, thanks again.
You're
Right.
welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay, say hello to everyone there at Weyermann.
Yeah. Stay
Hoping to see you
safe
in Brazil very soon.
and happy brewing.
Thank you. Bye
All right.
bye.
Bye.
Bye.